What if you already had all the resilience that you will ever need? Well, here we can explore that possibility. And I was inspired to make this video because I came across a quote that really jumped out at me. You know, like sometimes you hear a lyric in a song or a line in a poem and a certain form of words just jump out at you. Well, this is what happened when I read an article written by an Australian doctor, Ranjana Srivastava. And she describes how in her work with cancer patients and their families, how often she is struck by their repeated and remarkable resilience. Except she doesn't use the word resilience, she uses this wonderful phrase. She calls it the infinite capacity of the human spirit to rise again. And I just love that description because it points to so much which is true. And I'd like to share my reflections on that, and then you can see what resonates with you and what matches your experience. So let's pick up first the term human spirit, because in that term, what actually the doctor is referring to is something general. She says the human spirit, not a human spirit. It's the definite article. So she's talking about something general, something that is universal, something that is actually relevant to all human beings. So, you know, includes you and me and everybody else. And we can see that, can't we? Because in our own experience, we know what it's like for our spirits to be high and feeling great, and also when our spirits are low and we feel absolutely awful, and of course all the points in between. And going back to the quote, because she is saying that the human spirit can rise, it also implies that sometimes it's lower than others. You know, there is this variability that we all experience. We might not call it spirit, we might call it something like mood or disposition, but it's the same thing. And we know whether we're in a high spirit or low spirit by the feeling of it. We feel where we are in that spectrum. We'll come back to feeling a bit more later on. So this human spirit then that is in all of us, and something else that is universal in what she says is she uses the word capacity. Now, capacity, if you like, is referring to a power, something that is already in existence. It's not a potential that might come into existence if we work at it or we try to achieve it. It's already there. So it's a given, it's built in. So we have a built-in power already. And what's more, this power is infinite. So, as she says, infinite capacity. Well, that has quite a lot of extra to add to this, because if you think about infinite, there's several things that come to mind. One is that it doesn't run out or it doesn't run down. It's not like a battery which, with overuse, gets depleted and less powerful. This capacity is always available at full strength. And the other thing about being infinite, of course, is that it's not restricted to a particular context or set of circumstances. So this capacity that we have is available in any situation. The other thing about being infinite is that it is something that is geared to if you like, helping our spirits rise. It's the tendency is for spirits to rise. That's the default. And what happens when we're feeling low spirits? That feeling is telling us that somehow, inadvertently, we're not doing it deliberately, we are interfering with that. It's almost like we have a sort of built-in buoyancy. Our spirits have a certain buoyancy. They want to rise. That's their natural inclination. And sometimes it's like we're holding them down. We're not, again, innocently, but we're holding them down. And I said we come back to feelings a bit more, And you know that the feeling of being in low spirits is very distinctive. It's not pleasant. Sometimes it feels like despair, overwhelm, a complete sort of disorientation. It's unmistakable, and those feelings are a signal that what we're doing is suppressing that buoyancy. So the question arises, how do we stop interfering? And notice it's a stopping, it's not a starting, it's not a doing, it's an undoing effectively. When we get those feelings of being in a low place, if we stop giving our thinking so much attention, by, if you like, starving it of oxygen, of attention, it will automatically fade, and our feelings as a result will change. The feelings are coming from that thinking, so when the thinking changes, our feelings will change. And then, again, automatically, our spirits will rise. So, knowing that, you can see that actually you do have all the resilience you would ever need already. It's not something that you need to go chasing after. It's just understanding a little bit more about how it's actually working and what gets in the way. So I'll leave you to reflect on that, and if you have any questions or comments, please share them. And I look forward to seeing you next time.